Bourbon, Belts, Blockbusters. You are listening to the Triple B Podcast. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters. I'm Tim.
I'm Ryan.
And this is the show where we sip on some bourbon, talk about a lot of wrestling, and talk about blockbusters.
Heck yeah.
And we got a special episode today. It's number 25.
Number 25.
Quarter of a century old.
I named this The Jubilation.
Oh,
The
I like
episode
it.
is The Jubilation because the 25th wedding anniversary is referred to as the Silver Jubilee.
Oh,
Yeah. And then Jubilation just sounds fun.
I think so.
So,
it is fitting.
It's our 25th episode anniversary.
Hell yeah, man.
The Jubilation.
Here we are, episode 25. Well, we're going to get right into it. As you can recall, last time we did a bourbon reveal, it's through TikTok now. So
Yes.
we're just going to get right into it now. We got the Jefferson Ocean Aged at Sea bottle. It's very classy, very elegant. We thought we'd go a little, big time for a big episode.
Yeah.
So 25 episodes in, this is what we did. Now, I know this is long-winded and everything, but there's a really cool story behind this bourbon.
Yes.
It's
Worth the read.
they actually barrel it at sea, and it talks about the journey of what ship it was on and everything. So, all right, so Ocean Age at Sea. This was on Voyage 28 ship's log. It was 6 a.m. when Ocean Voyage 28 headed out into the restless seas of the Atlantic. The agitated ocean was steely gray, and the red sky was ominous, looking in front of a tropical depression moving north out of the Bahamas. Heat and humidity continued to build as we made our way south, and the clouds threatened rain at any moment. We were dockside at Manzanillo for 18 hours and another 24 hours holding position just outside the Panama Canal, waiting for our time to transit. Wave action was slight, but the heat and humidity was oppressive. Through the canal and below the equator, Ocean Voyage 28 made its long run to its anchorage in Auckland, crossing the international date line and advancing the calendar one day. The seas were rough from Auckland through Brisbane and around Australia to Fremantle. Heat and humidity was replaced with sea spray and cold air that defined our journey through the North Australian basin headed for Singapore. Air temperature and wave conditions modified again in the South China Sea. Ports in Shanghai, Masan, Kobe, Nagoya, Yokohama, and Hitachinaka were hot, and the waters were moderate, giving us a chance to thaw out and regain our balance before crossing the North Pacific to Tacoma and Long Beach. Ocean Voyage 28 made another long run off of Baja Peninsula through the Tropic of Cancer and down the coast of Central America. The air was hot and heavy with moisture. Rain would have been a relief, but it never came. Our transit back through the Panama Canal was swift and smooth, and while it remained hot and sticky, our final days through the Caribbean and up the Atlantic coast were smooth and clear. The humidity, dramatic swings in temperature, and ever-changing sea conditions had the effect of bringing balance and richness to the complex array of flavors and tastes you will find in Ocean Voyage 28.
Hell yeah.
A lot of info there, but it really kind of feeds into the story of where the flavors come from.
Absolutely.
So thought that was interesting. Thought this would be a fun one for it. I got it recommended from a coworker at a store, and you actually kind of hinted to this back in another episode.
Yeah, back in like the middle of September, we had posted I think it was one of the cocktail TikToks, and went on to like my Facebook story or whatever, and I had a friend from high school, and she just like sent me a message and was like, hey, you guys should try this bourbon. It's Jefferson Ocean. Jefferson's Ocean Aged at Sea bourbon, and she said she really liked it and that it had a cool backstory and how they distill it and everything and how they age it. So oddly enough, I had planned to also get this bottle for, because it is a bit more of a pricier bottle.
Yeah.
And so I was planning to get that for a special occasion too. So it's worked out perfectly. Yeah,
on
man.
the same wavelengths here.
Yep.
All right, man.
Let's
Let's get into it.
Let's get to it.
Oof.
Wow.
Yeah.
God. It may have been aged in different temperatures, some of which may have been hot and sticky. But I will tell you, after drinking that, my pants are now hot and sticky. That is delightful.
All right, what are you giving it?
Wow. Oh, man, I'm going to have a hard time not going with a 10 on this, Timmy.
I'm going 10.
Yeah,
man.
this is a 10.
I'm going
This
10.
is fucking phenomenal.
You can
And this is a 10 that is above the other two for me.
yeah.
Like this just completely reset the bar. Like this is better than the Tin Cup 10, and it's better than the French oak makers.
Hell yeah, man. Oh yeah, this
That's
is
super
real good. It's cool because there's like a caramel taste. Like you could
Yes.
definitely get it, but it comes
Absolutely.
way after the
Way after. Like
after
I'm
you're
still
done.
like, it's so genuinely fantastic.
Ooh.
On the tip of the tongue, on the back of the tongue, down the throat, in the belly,
And-
burping. Yeah, it's all great. It doesn't matter.
And this is we're it's a early morning episode again, and
Yes.
so
Not quite as early as the last one. It is 11. We were at like 9:30 the one before.
that's true.
But yes, this is an early episode once again, and that didn't play any role into
Nope.
hampering our taste buds here. So
No, absolutely not. So again,
Shit, man. That's
Jefferson's
fantastic.
Ocean Aged at Sea.
y'all got to try this.
You gotta
If,
try it.
if you are a fan of bourbon, which
Yeah.
if you're listening to us, I assume you are.
Yeah, man.
We got our socials, Instagram, X, YouTube, and TikTok, at Trip B Pod, Spotify, Amazon, Apple Podcasts for the Triple B Podcast, Bourbon, Belts, and Blockbusters. And our Gmail is triplebpod619@gmail.com. Hit us up on any and all socials. We'd love to interact and get to know any of our listeners.
Absolutely, man. Well, last week we started a new thing called
We
the Fact
did.
Check, and it was inspired by Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard, and we thought we would continue it. I thought it was a fun little addition last week. So this is your week, so I don't know
It is.
what you fact checked last week, and
Yeah.
how wrong or how right were we?
All around, we were actually not too far off. I think it's more of there were a couple of things that were wrong, but more or less, it's really just kind of clarifications of some things. So,
Okay.
for the most part, I'm gonna start with the Hardy Boys' last title win.
Okay.
We like fact checked the AEW, right? But then we both like I just said, I was like, what was the last one, like 2016? And we were like, yeah, it was like somewhere. So they actually did win the ICW tag championships in 2022 for
Okay.
a short. There was like 2 months or something that they held the titles. Outside of that, the last time they held one of like the main, like brand titles was in 2019. They won the SmackDown championships before the last time before they both left WWE.
Okay.
So there's that. Then we also kind of moved to talking. We had talked about like the video games from the week before as well, whether or not SmackDown vs. Raw or 2K had the creative finisher, all that. And I was like, I think it was just like SmackDown vs. Raw, and then it went straight into 2K. And there was a little bit of a fact check there because that was in between the last SmackDown vs. Raw and the first 2K game, which was in 2014, was WWE 12. And then the development of WWE 13, which ended up kind of like THQ went bankrupt, and that was when 2K took over, and they kind of shelved WWE 13 and then reran everything for
Okay.
2K 14.
Yeah, and now that you say it,
Yeah.
I remember the covers. It was Randy Orton on 12,
Yeah.
and then CM Punk on 13.
Yeah. So between SmackDown vs. Raw and 2K was just the titled WWE 12 and WWE 13 titles.
Okay.
I then also went on because we were talking about video games and how me and me and the boys, both my brothers, Nick, Tony, hopefully eventually Tim here. We all like play video games on Friday, and we were going to squad up on Red Dead Redemption. Oh, I actually lied on this. We did squad up last night. I lied. I put this part of the fact check preemptively. So I'm fact checking my own fact check right now. I said power outage, so we didn't squad up, but we actually did get power back on Thursday night. So we did squad up last night, and we played Red Dead Redemption, and it was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. It's the first time I ever played like online on that game with anybody, so that was cool. Anyways, moving on to actual fact checks. I talked about the game 7 Days to Die. Fact checking of itself, I just called it 7 days because that's just what we had been referring to it as. I didn't say the whole title on the show. Oh, okay. It was 7 Days to Die. That was that zombie kind of like building survival game, and I was like, I'm not sure exactly what type of game you call it, so that's what I fact checked. It is considered an open world, voxel-based sandbox game blending first-person shooter, survival horror, RPG, and tower defense style games, all into one. So that's what that was. We also talked about Madden, and we talked about like the assistant coaches, and you said that you didn't think that they had like assistant coaches, like real assistant coaches. Yeah. From everything I could read, you were correct about that. I didn't read anything about assistant coaches. All I saw was that somebody on like a Reddit thread had posted that like in their franchise mode or coach mode or whatever it is now, they, after like a few years, they were able to grab like Kyle Shanahan and then like head coaches to help round out their coaching staff or something.
Yeah,
like
you
that,
can do that for
so
sure.
like you can grab other known coaches, but they don't have just like because we were talking about Ryan Grubb and the Huskies and all that. So
yeah.
From what I could find. I also referred to Scarlet from Final Testament as the chick from Final Testament because I could not remember her name, and you didn't say it either. So I was just like, well, I should probably throw it out there. It's Scarlet.
Yeah, it's Scarlet Bordeaux.
It's Scarlet. Little bit of WWE War Games history. I don't off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly what led to me doing the fact check on just this specific thing, but I had said something around like the timeline of how long WWE has been doing War Games, and it is 8 total times. This coming week, next weekend's counted would be the 8th.
Okay.
NXT did 5. And then this coming weekend will be the 3rd for the main roster of WWE. So that's that. I also, with War Games, had said that I didn't want Seth Rollins in it because I'm sick of Seth Rollins in War Games. It feels like he's been in every single one of them. He literally only has been in last year's War Games. So that is a fact check. I was wrong about that. He's literally only been in last year's. He was not in any of the previous ones. So, yeah. We also talked about when the Bloodline murdered Paul Heyman, and I had said, like, you expect like the brutalness coming from the CM Punk Drew McIntyre feud. Like, you expect that to take place. What you don't expect, as I said, an almost 60-year-old Paul Heyman getting just fucking destroyed. Yeah. And taking the bumps that he took, and I was like almost spot on. Well, I was spot on because I said almost 60. He's 59. Oh, so, wow. Yeah, that was a really good guess. But yeah, so I just wanted to...
guess he
Yes,
gave.
educated guess, yeah. On the Triple B game show last week where we were doing the word guessing.
Oh, yeah,
right?
You said like 4 times.
Yeah, I said 4 or 5 times. It took us 6 attempts.
Oh, okay.
We got it on the 6th attempt.
Your next guess would have been right.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I was real close. As long as you start from one end and you just work up in the numbers, you're eventually going to get it. I also had talked, I said Austin Theory as my like pick for who needs like a kind of character change or new music or whatever, right? And I had said that I think like a heel run in the singles world would be really good for him because it didn't really feel like we had ever had one or a good one or whatever. He pretty much has always been heel, but I do stand by it not really ever being like a good, like legit. It was more of almost like a lot of it was like a comedic heel run with like the Vince McMahon protege type thing. Yeah. So it wasn't really like a great push.
I think I knew what you meant because
Yeah.
I knew he did have a heel run, but
Yeah, and
I was
think, like,
assuming
I
what you
meant-
were talking about
yeah,
was like
was like
legit.
a Drew McIntyre
Yes.
turning heel, or like KO now turning, like that type of heel run where it's like a believable thing. Dolph Ziggler's title run length, because Dolph Ziggler was who you picked for that same question. And we had just kind of talked about how like he never really had like a legit push in the title picture or anything like that. And we were correct in that. His longest title reign in WWE was with the Intercontinental title, and he held it for 160 days, which was the longest thing. His next longest run was his second World Heavyweight title run, which was a 69-day reign.
He had two.
He had two. Yeah, he had the first one. He won. He won it and then immediately lost it, like that same night. Yeah, so
Blink and you'll miss it one.
yeah, it was literally like it was either the same night or the next night. I can't remember exactly which one it was when I was reading that. But his second, oops, I just deleted something. His second run was 69 days, but he was out for like a month with a concussion.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like he was scheduled to be in a match against, I think, Alberto Del Rio, and he got a concussion on a SmackDown taping.
Gotcha.
And then it put him out, and then he ended up dropping it to Alberto Del Rio.
Gotcha.
At that next pay-per-view. So, because at that time it was still pay-per-views.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. Julius Ona clarification, the director for Captain America Brave New World. I had said that like I had read something, so it wasn't necessarily us being wrong. I was just talking about rumors and stuff that I had read. Mm-hmm. And I actually don't know if it's fully wrong or not. That's the thing still. There's not a whole lot of anything concrete information about it. Mm-hmm. The fact that he was not at D23, but they brought in the directors of Fast and Furious, the Fantastic Four, and Thunderbolts were both there, and he was absent from it when those are like the next three like big movies that are coming out. Was interesting. Marvel announced that he had COVID, which is why he wasn't there. Mm-hmm. Could be fishy, I don't know. And also with the understanding that apparently Marvel kind of secretly, can's not the right word, but they kind of secretly removed Taika Waititi from Thor: Love and Thunder, and Marvel themselves finished the movie. But that wasn't like a well-known thing, so it's kind of like a could that same thing be happening?
Gotcha.
Type of thing. So, not necessarily a fact check in of itself, but it was more of a clarification
more
as to like
detail
where
on
we're
it.
at
I like it.
with it. Third Spider-Verse movie title. Neither of us could remember what they had actually titled it, but it was announced, and it is Beyond the Spider-Verse. So we had Into the Spider-Verse, Across the Spider-Verse, and now it's Beyond the Spider-Verse.
Awesome.
So that's the third one, still in like early pre-production type stuff. Denzel Washington's final movies and age. Because I had said, I was like, he's in his 60s, or I was like, he might be pushing 70. Once again, very well-educated guess, he is 69. So I said almost 60 for Paul Heyman, he's 59. I said all pushing 70 for Denzel, he is 69 years old.
Dang. I didn't think he was that old.
Yeah, I know. He doesn't look. That's what I was saying. Like, you would not know. He's older than you think. I said it on that episode last week. I said he's older than you think he is because he looks damn good.
Yeah.
Like, you would not think he is fucking almost 70 years old. That's wild. Yeah. But his final movies, and this was from an interview that he did, so this isn't necessarily like 100% these are the only things he's doing, but these are just like the ones that he has lined up before he said like, I'm going to retire, you know? So I did also read, before I read these, I read an article like 2 days ago that said that Equalizer 4 and 5 have been greenlit and that Denzel would be returning.
Oh, shit.
So I don't know. Like, obviously, like, when people retire, especially in the film industry, is very fluid.
Yeah, absolutely.
People retire and then come back. People retire and come back. We just talked about it with Cameron Diaz last week. But the next ones that Denzel himself confirmed that he is doing are Spike Lee's High and Low, Antoine Fuqua's Hannibal. So that's a fact check. It's fact check section, because that's a fact check within a fact check, because I had said, is Hannibal the character he's playing in Gladiator? It is not. It's a completely different thing. And then a Steve McQueen movie, Black Panther 3, and then an Othello adaptation are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that he himself talked about in that interview.
Okay.
We also kind of quickly breezed past it, but I said it right, but I was like, I think that's his name, but I couldn't recall, so I just wanted to clarify. Brad Winderbaum is the head of Marvel TV.
Okay.
So that is the guy. So he was the one giving the interview about like which of the other Defenders he would like to see continue, and he's the one that said Jessica Jones.
Gotcha.
Comic arc that involves Franklin Richards becoming Galactus after Reed Richards turns the original Galactus into a star. It is Earth X comic.
Okay.
The comic run of Earth X. Then we have Cameron Diaz's last film credit before what she is like currently doing was in 2014. We were correct about that. And we were also correct. I said one movie, and then you said yes, and you think she put out like a few in that same amount of time. She did. She put out 3 movies in 2014. Sex Tape, which is the one that I said, I'm pretty sure that was around the same time, was one of them. Annie, and then The Other Woman.
Gotcha.
I never saw Annie. I don't know if you did or not.
I have not.
But Sex Tape was obviously phenomenal, and The Other Woman was also a really good movie.
Yeah, I like both of those.
Yeah, with Kate Hudson and Leslie Mann, I believe, were the 3 leads in that movie. Then, last 2 things I have for the fact check is the Jamie Foxx health scare clarification. We kind of talked about that also, because that happened during the filming of Back in Action, which is the Cameron Diaz, Jamie Foxx movie we talked about last week. It's still an unspecified thing that happened to him. He has not like outright come out and said it, but apparently he is doing a one-man show, which is going to be a special for Netflix, where he actually addresses it, because he had said like in his own social media posts and stuff that he will address it, but he wants to do it his way, and he wants to do it like comedically. And he hasn't been on stage in like a comedy setting like that, like stand up or anything like that, in a long time. So like that's how he wanted to do it. So
Gotcha.
Look for that on Netflix. Sometime there wasn't a release date or anything for it yet, but. And then the final thing I had was we were talking about the This or That, and it was Bugs Life and Ants. Mm-hmm. And I'd said that the bad guys and ants always like freaked me out. We couldn't remember what they were. I said like beetles. You said the grasshoppers at one point, but then that was Bugs Life. Yeah. And yeah, you corrected that in the moment. But all in all, we still didn't say the correct thing. They're termites.
Termites. Okay.
Yeah, because ants and termites are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so.
That was a fun one. I like that.
Yeah, that's the fact check.
All right. Going on to football. The Hawks got to win, man. Oh, what a win.
Boy, did they ever.
God. That was like,
yeah.
If that's like the Super Bowl of the year so far, like for me, just the drama in that game. And
it was great, man.
And
it seriously was so good. Oh. We beat the 49ers 20-17 in California, and it was huge, for multiple reasons. The 49ers had beat us in the previous 6 contests, dating back to December of 2021. So almost 3 years since we had beat San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Santa Clara. B, we're sitting at 4-5. A third loss to a division rival very well would have put us at 4-6, 1-3 in the division, or 0-3 in the division. Actually, is what it would have put us at. And like that, it very well could have been like a write up to like, well, while it's still an uphill battle and we have a tough schedule ahead of us, with the win put us right in the middle of the division hunt, and also like keeps playoff hopes alive and all that. Where like a loss that last week would have been like kind of almost a nail in the coffin type of hit. It'd been like, fuck.
Yeah, with the standings and how they are, it will come down to the division record, and being 0-3 does not help. So getting that win was definitely pivotal.
Yeah.
You've alluded to this before. we can't win at home, but on the road,
No,
we're the road
so
warriors.
much better. We are, yeah. We play so much better on the road, and I don't get it. We also play really well in domes. Like Gino's stats, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, so I don't want to say anything like and be totally wrong. But I know that his stats in domes are like fucking ridiculous comparative to his stats outside of domes.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. Maybe we need to rebuild Lumen.
Yeah, just make it a dome.
Right? It wouldn't be a terrible idea since we do live in the fucking Pacific Northwest.
And
so.
we could get a mania here.
Yeah, we could get a mania here. That'd be fucking dope. But yeah, so it was a really good game. It was fun. It was back and forth. There was like you said, there was a lot of drama in it. One of my favorite moments was later in the game, Gino, and you saw him get like physically angry when he saw KJ Wright standing on the 49ers sideline in 49ers gear.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, and then he did an interview on Richard Sherman's podcast this week, earlier in the week, like Monday or Tuesday or whatever, and he talked about it and how like that it just like lit a fire under him because it's like, dude, he's a Seahawk, he should not be wearing that, and like the fact that he was over there on that sideline is, and you know what, it's no like. I don't think it's anything like personal against KJ Wright. You know, he wants to get into coaching. He is a Seahawk for life, but Seattle didn't have a coaching job for him, so he took one that did.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't fault him for that, and I don't blame him. But I do agree that it was weird seeing fucking KJ Wright on the 49ers sideline, like working for the enemy, you know? So
whatever motivation you need to pull off a win, so be it.
And then who did it?
Gino,
man, with the fucking 11 or 12 yard scramble to score, to go up 3 with like 16 seconds left or whatever it was fucking huge.
It was.
Like, I was just like, oh shit, man. Like, I was like jumping up and down. Lainey's looking. It was just me and her home that night. She was just looking at me like, what's going on? Like, why are you hollering at the TV? I
was texting you. I was like, fuck yes.
I know, dude. It was so awesome. And again, for all of those reasons that we said, like, keeps us alive. They have been our goddamn kryptonite for years now, and it was so nice to see that all play out and shake out that way. And our defense played really fucking good, dude.
They did.
Like, outside of Juwan Jennings,
he was lighting it up, but
he's
been doing that to everyone this season.
McCaffrey had 79 yards on the ground. Deebo Samuel, I think, had 21 yards.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they didn't have Kittle. Fuck off.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so tired of, and I was so irritated watching the game because the announcers, of course, constantly are like, they don't have Kittle. They're really missing Kittle right now. Oh, Brandon Ayuk's out for the year. Oh, they lost Nick Bosa for the fourth quarter or whatever. It's like, where was all of this when we were literally missing half of our starting defense for the 3-game stretch that we lost, the third game of which was the first one against San Francisco? It's like, where was all of this where we're missing 6 of our starting defensive players, 2 or 3 of our starting offensive players were out. We had like only 1 person on the O-line at that time, maybe 2 that were our regular offensive linemen. Like, where was all of that talk when that was happening against us?
It's the Seahawks.
It just doesn't happen.
No one loves the Seahawks.
I know. But yeah, so I don't care. It was a win's a win, dude. Like, and it is what it is, you know?
Yeah.
No matter what played into it, a win is a win. We're 5-5 now. We're back. Like I said, Cardinals are 6-4. Rams are 6-5.
Think so.
5-5.
5-5.
Are they 5-5? Had they had their bye already?
Yeah.
We're 5-5. The Niners are 5-5, but we're now third in the division. With that, the Rams obviously beat us once already, but the Rams also beat the Niners, and we've split with the Niners. But we're 1-2 in the division. The Niners are now 1-3 in the division because they have blown a fourth quarter lead in all 3 games against NFC West opponents so far this year.
Yeah.
So, suck it, San Fran.
I was watching the game and I was just like, I haven't seen Gino run, and he didn't all game until that last drive. And came up with 2 clutch runs.
He ran twice for almost 30 yards or whatever.
Yeah.
Obviously, like the one was like I think it was a third down too, and he picked up almost 20, and then obviously the game winner.
Winner. Just watching the linebackers so defeated when he ran it in was amazing.
Yeah. Because, dude, Fred Warner is
he's a beast,
motherfucking
but I
monster.
hate that guy. He's a beast. He's one of the best.
Yeah,
like the best.
He is
right
the
now.
best linebacker in the NFL. I would argue. He's so fucking good. But yeah, it was so great to just watch them and like how
hands on the hips.
I forget which one it is. What one of the linebackers like hardcore stuck on Zach Charbonnet out of the backfield on that play, which is then what opened the lane for Gino to be able to take off. And it's just like there's so many things where it's like we gotta use shit like that more often. Like our running backs are threats in every facet of the game.
Yeah.
K9 obviously. Zach Charbonnet has like his little bursts of moments. I don't think he has shown anything consistently yet, but still, it's like when you have a linebacker that like when they show their hand of being worried about that, it opens up so many things. So we got the Cardinals tomorrow, which is huge because again, like we said, Cardinals are currently in first place in the division. They are 6-4. I think they're undefeated in the division right now. I don't think they've lost a game to an NFC West opponent. And this, I mean, it's 6-4. If we knock the Cardinals off, we're 6-5 and they're 6-5, and that puts us in first place.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting. Their ground game is pretty terrifying. They have some really studly pass catchers in their tight end McBride and Harrison. Yeah, Marvin Harrison Jr. And then obviously just Kyler Murray, healthy, running around.
Yep.
He's a speedy little bobblehead out there, and it's going to be interesting. But our run defense fucking showed up last week. Everyone was worried because we fucking cut Tyrell Dodson in the middle of the week, which was an interesting move. We would have thought like we traded Jerome Baker and got something out of it. You would have thought that we could have got even something better if you would have also traded Tyrell Dodson before the trade deadline. Yeah, but we waited until after and then just cut him. So maybe a little bit of a head scratcher of a move there, but on the field seems like it worked. Things just, I think obviously just weren't really meshing very well with him, and McDonald knew that, and bye. So it is kind of interesting to look at a lot of the free agent signings or trades or whatever that John Schneider pulled off in the preseason have almost across the board not worked out so far. So it's kind of interesting, but that might be an off-season conversation that we'll be having. What are you thinking about the game tomorrow against Arizona?
It's going to be a tough game. The Cardinals are playing good football, but
surprise of the season, really. Like nobody expected that.
It is a divisional rival, so it's going to be a close game.
Yep.
Or at least I assume it's going to be a close game.
A hard-fought, more than likely tight game.
And believe it or not, it makes me even more nervous that we're playing at home.
I know. Same. But the nice thing is, we then go to Arizona, which also makes me nervous because that fucking field is cursed. But for us specifically,
we go back in 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks, yeah. It's Arizona, Jets, Arizona. So if we could come out of this 3-game stretch 2-1, to go into, to be, would be what, 7-6 at that point, to then go into the final stretch, which is a gauntlet, dude. I mean, we still have to play Green Bay, we still have to play Minnesota, we play the Rams one more time, and we play the Bears. Yeah. So, like, we play the rest of the NFC North, and
there's not an easy defense through this next stretch.
No, not at all. So, but as of now, playoff hopes remain, division title hopes remain, and it's got to take it week for week.
Yeah, man.
Timmy?
Wellness journey.
Yep.
I am flat. I'm flat. No gain.
Same.
No
what the
loss.
fuck? What's going on?
Still at 255.8.
Yeah,
Just
I'm right about 232 still.
just kind of building off the same things from a last update is just not making the time to go to the gym and this time I've been making some questionable decisions from a dietary standpoint. So that's been tough. It's just this time of year is always tough. It's the holidays and it gets harder and harder. But I'm making excuses. I need to just make the time. I gotta make time, and the time is there. We've done it before. We just gotta continue on. So that's where I'm at.
Mine's similar, dietary wise. We've eaten out way more than I would like to over the last couple month or so, which is one thing. But we have also been cooking really good stuff at home, and like I've said before, when we do cook at home, primarily we eat plant-based and stuff like that. But for me, it's really the exercise side of it. I've been struggling. My body's been fucking hurting like a motherfucker, and so I've been struggling at the gym. And then it was like this week, the power was out for 3 days.
Yeah.
So it was like the gym was closed. I couldn't go to the gym. I couldn't go do what I normally do at the school. So there's that. And it was like stormy. So it was like, I'm not trying to go outside and run, all sorts of stuff. And then on top of, like I said, I just got shit going on with all my most of my lower body and my shoulders. And so I got to be really smart about the way I do things and what I do and how hard I push myself, which is really hard for me because I'm typically I go 100% when I'm working out, and it sucks. So trying to figure that out, navigate that, all sorts of new things and whatnot. But, honestly, the fact that I just kind of leveled out, I was like, I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I thought that was a win as well. Yeah. I too am just I sound old in this, but I got a lot of joint pain going on. Yeah, dude, and I think it's from I drive a lot for work. I drive from Bonnie Lake to Bellevue, and especially this last week with all the power outages, 1 hour, 1.5 hour drives are turning into 3 hour drives. Yeah, and it's just my legs are getting locked in one position, and so it's again. I need to find a different mode when I go to the gym where I can, get there and do something, but not go full 100,000%, we want to. So
and for me too, I'm going to contemplate, especially now that Lindsay's finished with her real estate class. I'm going to see. I gotta talk to her because she wants to start going back to the gym and stuff too. But we just gotta kind of work out a schedule of things to make it all work. But I'm gonna see if going after work helps with me. Mm-hmm. Because I'm wondering if part of why I'm hurting so bad is because I literally wake up, get dressed, and I go to the gym, and then I'm I'm having no blood pumping. I'm not fully warmed up, no matter what I do for 5-10 minutes before I actually do my workout. I'm just I think it's taking me longer for my body to get fully revved up and ready to roll. So I'm wondering if after teaching all day and I've been moving around, I've been doing stuff, maybe I might feel a little better in the afternoon. Yeah. So I might try that and see where I'm at.
Loosey goosey, man.
Yeah. Man. I think challenge upcoming is going to be Thanksgiving's this week.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's going to be portion control for both of us. I know.
Yep.
I know us both. So
yep.
Portion control. Everything in moderation, Tim.
Facts.
We'll check back in 2 weeks and see how we did. Because then 2 weeks after that's Christmas. So it's going to be the same fucking thing. So.
It's a tough part of the year.
Yes, it is.
I guess I hope that the New Year's resolution I have this year is not to just lose weight, but just continue on what we got, versus kind of staying stagnant or gaining weight during the holidays, needing to lose that weight. Hopefully it's just building off of good success during that time, right?
Yeah,
so
for sure.
Well,
Timmy,
that brings us to
Belts. Let's go.
What do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the introduction to what we now have set as our women's War Games match. Mm-hmm. That whole opening was fucking dope.
Yeah, it was.
To it. You get Liv and Raquel coming out, and then she's like calling out Bianca and Jade and all of them, and then says, and since I know you guys didn't come alone, we didn't either. And then out comes Nia and Tiffy and Candice LeRae.
Yep.
They all come walking out, so it's like them five, and I was like, oh shit, they're setting up a War Games match right now. I was like, it's five of them. And in my mind at first I was like, it kind of seems weird to me that Nia and Liv are kind of like all of a sudden quickly bearing the hatchet.
Yeah.
Because like they've like cost each other a couple times over the last couple weeks.
And they had their feud at
Crown Jewel. But then they actually like alluded to that in their little back and forth, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm good with that then. Mm-hmm. And then Bianca's music hits, cuts Nia Jax off. Bianca, Naomi, and Jade come out, and they kind of, quip a little, and then say, and you're right, we didn't come alone. And out comes Io. And then the four of them, and then Liv being Liv does you guys aren't very good at math, there's five of us, there's four of you, blah, blah, blah. And then fucking Rhea Ripley's music hits, dude. And this was
legit shocked.
I know, me too. And this was the coolest thing. She comes down to the ring, she gets in, and with like no hesitation or nothing, just walks straight up to Liv and just screams, War Games, and fucking headbutts her.
Her headbutt is so crazy.
Lethal. And Liv takes it so well.
Yeah.
Like she fucking eats that goddamn headbutt every fucking
Their
time.
feud
And
is
it's
great.
so believable.
It really is.
So good. So I'm stoked for that. There's potential, depending on what you have to talk about.
Well, I'm just going to group this with what happened on SmackDown.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was about to also, but I was like, I didn't know if where you were going with it. So,
so I mean,
the whole Jade situation.
Jade gets attacked on SmackDown.
By we don't know who.
Yeah. She's already been technically pulled from her U.S. Women's U.S. Championship
next Friday.
Triple threat, saying she's not cleared. Does that mean she's pulled
from
War Games? And is she getting replaced?
And if she does get replaced, I feel like it's got to be Bayley.
I was going to say it's got to be Bayley.
She's the odd one out that was involved in that on SmackDown.
I mean, I feel like the obvious, I think the obvious answer to who attacked her would be Bayley, but would you really want to change her heel again?
Oh.
Because they've been kind of like her, Naomi, has been kind of having this back and forth recently.
I didn't even think about that.
So it could be her, but I just don't see them switching Bayley.
Maybe she did it to get herself into the limelight of War Games because she's tired of not being in the...
Yeah.
But also that wouldn't really make sense either because she just won the triple threat match for the U.S. title. Tournament. So yeah, that wouldn't really play that well either.
I
hope that's not what it was, just because it wouldn't really make that much sense. So I'm hoping it was like Liv and Raquel continuing their attacks on Jade and Bianca. That didn't even cross. You just literally just like, well, I was like, what the fuck? I didn't know. I didn't even think about that. So
it'll definitely be interesting on what happens next Friday.
But then I'm also curious about like, what is there's got to be an end game here as to why they took Jade out of this if she is out of War Games.
Yeah.
Right? Like there has to be a reason behind it. Does she have something actually wrong? So like is she kind of injured so they need to like protect her?
Yeah.
Is it because like if it was just Liv and Raquel, then that doesn't really make sense either for the long game of like why are you removing Jade from this match when it would have been her first time in War Games?
Yeah, exactly.
Which would have been kind of cool. Mm-hmm. So like then that side of it does kind of make me wonder if it is Bayley.
Yeah.
Right. So fuck. I don't know. Now I'm all flabbergasted about it. Tim, you got me all discombobulated.
I guess we'll see on Raw and SmackDown this week.
I guess so. Go home shows.
The other note I made on this was just it kind of makes more sense. The booking leading into Crown Jewel. I know you had qualms with Rhea basically interrupting the Nia versus Liv thing going on and stuff. You weren't too excited about that, and it kind of makes sense now.
No, I wasn't. Let me correct that. I wasn't. What I wasn't a fan of was the fact that the women's crown jewel match felt like it was derailing the Liv and Rhea feud.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah, not that Liv was getting in the way of Liv
that's
and
right.
Nia. It was the other way around. I felt like that was derailing it, but I feel like they've played it well. I feel like they've played it well, and now this is just continuing that. Right, so because all throughout that whole time, that was like right around when they attacked Rhea at NXT and put her out, and that's why she's got the face mask on and all that. So it's been a good continuance of that feud, and we're obviously getting. I don't know if it's the climax of it at War Games, but I feel like there's got to be some form of one-on-one against Liv and Rhea.
Yeah,
Eventually, again for the title.
Can they? I mean, can they stretch it out to Mania? Would you want it stretched out to Mania?
If they can keep it going the way it's been going, fuck yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've said it before, and I stand by it. I think Liv and Rhea has been the best, and this is including Punk and McIntyre. Mm-hmm. Like, I think it's been like the best fucking feud on WWE TV this year. Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, if they can continue it and do it well, then I would love to see it go to push to Mania and have it be the climax at Mania.
Yeah. It's just a long time between now and then.
It is a long while. You're talking, 5 months between now and Mania.
Yeah.
So a little less than 5 months, I guess, but
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this brings me to Miz in the Final Testament promo. Miz was gold. It was a really well done promo, and it was very serious, but then Miz throws in, this is an Oscar worthy acting on my part. It's going to launch Marine 7. Talks about these Marine movies like they're just A-list movies.
I think it's perfect though, because it's his character.
Absolutely.
I think that is gold.
I got a big kick out of it. I really liked how this promo was done. It's got me excited for this feud with the Wyatt Six. But I also think Miz joining this fold with Final Testament has been good for Karrion Kross. He was kind of, we were getting
very
sick,
stagnant. Very stagnant.
We were getting really sick of seeing him on there. I do eventually think AOP needs to be their own tag team and everything, but I think ultimately this has been really good for Karrion Kross, and I'm interested in where this is going with it.
My hope is, because I feel like Karrion Kross has so much potential, my hope is that the push or whatever you want to call this with him now, I hope that it just continues to propel him, because I could also unfortunately see it being like, as soon as this is all over, then it just dies, because and if that is the case, then it's him. Yeah. Because like right now he's looking good and it's good for him, but he's being propelled and propped up by The Miz and by AOP and by the Wyatt Six specifically. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Hopefully it all works out well for him.
It definitely probably doesn't have the long legs. Like, it is going to bank on him carrying this past it, because it's got a dead end kind of ending in this kind of feud. But like you said, hopefully he can build off of this.
For sure. I wanted to talk about the Intercontinental Championship match.
Okay.
Braun Breaker and Sheamus.
Mm-hmm.
First off, really good match. Like they were putting on a fucking banger. No pun intended with Sheamus there, but a little bit. But yeah, dude, it was really good. It was a really solid match. It was, I think, back and forth believable, right? Because like Sheamus is not just a fucking, like, I think Sheamus realistically might be the most formidable opponent, physically speaking at least, that Braun Breaker's faced since he's been on the main roster.
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So like Sheamus isn't, he's bigger than Sami Zayn.
he got the accolades to go behind it too. Like he's
won for sure.
You know, he's won the World Heavyweight Championship.
He's
WWE
definitely he
Championship.
definitely has a decorated career, right? And so it was a really good way for him to like kind of help put Braun Breaker over throughout a match, and not necessarily by the outcome of the match itself, but just like helping just push Braun to his next level of ability and believability of his character.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a really good match back and forth. I really enjoyed it. I would love to see it again. Also, they've been doing this like, and we've like roundabout kind of talked about it. They've been pushing Sheamus.
Yeah.
Like, and we haven't really mentioned that much. It's just been like more or less a lot of times it's been like, I don't see how Pete Dunne taking the L to Sheamus here. You know what I mean? Like that type of thing. But Sheamus hasn't fucking lost a match in forever. Like it's been a little while since he actually like took an L on TV, I believe.
He didn't take he took a loss.
I think
by
he
DQ,
technically did,
but,
because Ludwig came out, right? And that was the next thing that I want to talk about was I have a qualm, which I'm going to get to. That's actually one of my talking points. And it's not necessarily a qualm in this, like, because of this specific way it happened, but it's just the overarching kind of, I think, issue and habit that WWE creative is falling under right now. But first off, I actually really liked the fact that Ludwig did this in this specific match, in this specific moment, because of just like the kind of build and tension between him and Gunther and all that. And that's been all taking place. And you can kind of tell he feels like he needs to prove himself. He needs to do this. He needs to do that. He's like out of a comfort zone, and he needs like trying to get back on track type thing. And so him just inserting himself into the IC picture right then and there, I thought was great. And him and Sheamus obviously have history.
Yeah.
But him and Breaker would be a fucking match.
Yeah.
Like him and Braun Breaker would be a great match.
Agreed.
So I liked that whole thing of it.
Yeah.
What about you before I get to the next thing?
I agree with you. That match was awesome. I just feel bad for Sheamus because his chase of the Intercontinental title, it continues on. Like that's the last title he needs to be a Grand Slam champion, and it was funny because the announcers made a joke going, "Oh, you won the Intercontinental title. Watch out for Sheamus. He's coming." Like, because he's always challenging the new Intercontinental champion. So, thought that was good. The match was good. I do like Ludwig entering this part just because of what you said. The Gunther calling him out, and I mean that's the next title up behind the World Heavyweight Championship. Gonna make a name for yourself. That was the perfect time.
Yes.
Yeah,
For sure.
Chad Gable, I've been talking about him a lot, and he's been losing a lot, and I
Lucky son of a bitch.
I know it,
Damn you, Rey Mysterio.
but he took the loss, and I was angry. But then what happened after the match? I think we're gonna get a reset here and a more focused and hopefully winning way with him, but just he took the loss, and then American Made came in the ring, the Creed brothers, and then he started slapping the shit out of, I can't think of the guy's name.
One, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, I see what's going on. He's like trying to pump them up and go, we're not losers.
Yeah.
And so I dig where this is going now, because I do think it's going to be like a hard reset, and maybe this is where they win. If they don't start winning, I'm going to be pissed off, because Chad
like,
Gable is so good.
Yeah, what a waste of just like a whole story and creative and the whole just package that they have.
Yeah.
There was a moment during that where I was like, are they about to break up? Because I was like, the Creed brothers were looking like they were about to, like, or the one that he was smacking was about to like attack him, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? But then I saw it is it Brutus?
Okay, so it's Julius.
Julius. Yeah, so Julius is the taller one, and then Brutus is the shorter, stockier one. He was like laughing at him, right? And then I was like, oh wait, okay, no, something different's happening. But at first I was like, what the fuck? I was like, they like just, it's only been like a month or whatever that we've had American made.
Yeah.
And that hasn't been that long, you know?
Yeah.
And so I was like, what the hell? But then that happened. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, I agree with you. I think it is hopefully like a reset.
A turning point.
Yeah, exactly. A turning point for him to be able to kind of get back on track. And they do need to start winning. And I think I think,
Or else,
I have a whole other thought that just came to my mind about the factions that are taking place on Raw. I don't feel like you're seeing it nearly as much on SmackDown, like full factions. Like you have a couple, Bloodline, Phantasma.
yeah. I think that's
really
pretty
it.
much it,
factions that are like more than just a tag team, right?
Yeah.
But on Raw, I feel like you have
Judgment Day,
Final Testament, American
Testament.
Made, Wyatt Six.
Yeah. That's true.
Yeah, I feel like there's one more that LWO, right?
Oh yeah. And then they got the I can't
PFC, Pure Fusion Collective. Yeah, exactly. So like there's like a lot
Damage
of
Control.
Damage Control. There's a lot of factions, but I also don't feel like there's like outside of Judgment Day that factions are really pushed towards doing anything.
Yeah.
So it's like you have all these factions, but it's also kind of like a useless or like a waste of the usage of them.
And it seems
so
like
it'd be nice to see them outside of Judgment Day to now where Judgment Day is kind of fizzled to a point. It would be nice to see if you're going to have these factions, fucking push one and let's see them actually like do something.
Yeah. And it seems like the bad guys, the heel factions, they come onto the scene as big bads, but then they're losing everything.
And then they turn into a joke. Yeah.
They're just losing like everything.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah, for sure. It's interesting.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. I'd like to see any of them, really. I'd like to see any of them start getting the upper hand in situations and not just like a one-off here and a one-off there, but actually like go on a run. You know, because like Final Testament was a joke for a while, and then they just had the upper hand on the Wyatt Six. The Wyatt Six did it over American Made, but now they just got beat down by the Final Testament. You know, this is, seems like there's just like these like back and forth, like we're on like a hiking trail on switchbacks, just going. We don't know when the fuck we're gonna get up there, but we're just going here and here, you know. So hopefully this does, like you said, kind of do a reset and allows them to get there.
Yeah. All right.
Next thing I want to talk about, and like I said, it plays off of what we saw in the IC match. It plays off of what happened last week on SmackDown, and then what just happened last night on SmackDown. There are a lot of. And I really think this is just like poor writing and it's lazy creative when it comes to that. Too much DQ by interference going on.
I had the same note.
It's just like, what the fuck, man? Like we had it in the tag team title match last week, right? You have Ciampa come out and interfere and cause a DQ. You have Ludwig come out, and like I said, I really liked that for what it was as an isolated incident.
Yeah.
But when you look at,
Sure how to help you with that.
You got robots in here fucking listening to us, Timmy. Alexa's she's trying to. You better watch out, Alexa. You're gonna turn me on. But then, like as an isolated incident, but then when you step back and look at the grand scheme of things, it's like this is happening way too much. Then you have Nia and that tag team match too.
Yeah.
It's just like it's turning into like you have these things that should be like good storytellers and like things that are propping up feuds and stuff, but then it's just turning into like filler matches because you're trying to continue story building through these interferences, but they don't need to take place. It doesn't feel like. Yeah. Now the Ludwig one, if that was the only one that happened in those last 12 days, it would have been like, sweet. You know, that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
But the fact that it has happened at least once on SmackDown, Raw, SmackDown now.
Yeah.
3 back-to-back main brand episodes. It's stale.
Yeah.
And it's like, fuck, man. Like, what? Like, just fucking have a finish. Have a finish in a match that's an actual finish and not a fucking roll-up.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're going to get back to. They went from doing roll-up finishers to now DQ finishers. Yep. Just have a fucking match end clean. Stop trying to, like, I don't know if it's, you know, like trying to do a protection of everyone involved or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, have somebody fucking take an L.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's okay to do every now and then. Have somebody actually take a fucking clean loss.
Yeah.
Like, hit a finisher, finish the match. When was the last time we saw that, dude? I feel like it's been forever.
Honestly, yeah.
I guess, I mean, the War Raiders, really,
Yeah.
are the only ones that...
They got a legit win, right?
Yeah, every match they've done has been a legit win.
Yep.
Since they've been back.
Yeah. No, it's funny you had that. I almost had that on my notes, and then I was like I was kind of putting them together quickly, and I was like, okay, I labeled it non-finishes because that's what it is, just all these non-finished matches, and I couldn't just put together all the ones that you just listed, and so. Yeah, no, I agree with you. It's kind of getting old. I would be curious if we just go back and watch like old Raw, SmackDown, and just see, was this happening a lot? Like, because I know it happened, but is it happening as much as it is now? Because it just seems like that's their go-to crutch to protect someone.
It's either a roll-up finish
or
it's a DQ by interference.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, it does seem like it's happening a lot, but also. We are looking at it, you and me specifically, we're watching wrestling with, I guess, more of a critiquing eye now because we're doing this.
Yeah.
And we're talking about it regularly, right? So, like, it could have been happening, but we just didn't pay that much attention to it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to turn my goddamn hat around. It's hurting my ears for some reason being backwards today. It's bothering me. I don't want to keep messing with it. So, here we go. I'm done.
KO Cody face off.
That was my next one too. Yeah,
I love what I don't know if this was intentional, but the total wardrobe swap where Cody was not in his suit and then KO was in a tux tank.
The cut off tuxedo shirt was fucking perfect.
I love that he called it out.
And he called it out. Yeah,
and
I got dressed to the nines. He's wearing fucking sweatpants and a cut off shirt.
Absolutely love that.
Fantastic.
Like it was just gold. That made me laugh a lot. But both of them were spitting truth.
This was one of, I feel like, the best that we have seen KO on the mic in a while. Mm-hmm. And KO's great on the microphone almost every time he's on the mic. But this was like you felt it. You felt what he was saying. And it like made you kind of be like, fuck yeah, KO. But then you're also like, wait, I'm not supposed to feel
Cody.
that. Yeah, like I'm not supposed to feel that way. What the fuck? That's why when you like that's when you know shit is good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, I just KO was spitting facts. Cody was spitting facts on this. It was just like, wow, I really am feeling for both sides of this, and it was really good. I think what KO said is truth, and this is why we were hating on Seth joining War Games potentially was Roman did a lot of bad things over the last 4 years, and a lot of that was at KO's expense and Cody's expense. Yeah, he's quick to team up with them, and I know we've talked about it on episodes before where we're just like, I see where KO is coming from. Like, I didn't even think about how long KO had feuded with the Bloodline, and it was throughout the whole reign.
It was the entire run, the whole 4 years or whatever. Yeah,
exactly. And so I definitely am more on KO's side when just from what they were talking about on this night. But Cody's right too, and I like how they brought this back to their Bash at Berlin match was you're self-sabotaging yourself.
Yeah, you don't believe you're your own worst enemy.
Yeah, and so that promo was fire. I enjoyed it thoroughly.
Talking about Bash at Berlin and like how the whole lead up to that, all I wanted was it to be a full through and through, start to finish, face versus face, and we got that. Mm-hmm. I don't know, and you'll fact check me next week on this. I don't know that we've really ever had that happen, and then with such a quick turnaround to being like a true face versus heel now with the same two people in such a short period of time. Yeah. And also, it's, this shit is really good when you have a clear face and you have a clear heel. There is no, like, gray area realistically, and when you just look at it for what it is. Cody is the face here, KO is the heel, but you find yourself not sure who to root for. And like, how often does that happen too?
Not a lot.
Like, that doesn't happen very often, where it's like when you have an obvious and an obvious, but then you're also like, fuck, I kind of want this one to win, but I also want this. I don't fucking know, So it is very interesting, and I think it's I think this was needed for KO.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't feel like it ever really got there, but I feel like you could definitely have seen where it could have been like one wrong step in creative, and KO would have gotten stale too. He would have got stagnant. He would have been on this like just kind of mediocre mid card run. This is just fucking this whole last month has catapulted him into the fucking main event picture at whenever the fuck this takes place. Yeah. And I could see this potentially lasting to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of how long Punk and McIntyre went.
Yeah.
They went an equal amount of time, because they went from the fucking Rumble, really, realistically. But like the actual feud kicked off, was that at WrestleMania?
It was leading into WrestleMania.
Yeah, leading into WrestleMania, and I mean, it fucking ended
just
last 2 months ago at Hell in a Cell or whatever. So yeah, it's just very like, they could definitely, if they do it right, they could definitely push this all the way to Mania and have KO main event Mania against Cody. Like, that'd be so good for KO too. So
yeah, absolutely. I think to your point, I think like I love joking KO on the mic, like, but it was just becoming too much. Where he's like, "Oh, you want to do this?" But I love serious KO, but he's still throwing in a little humor with it, like even with it, but like straight face KO is dangerous in the ring and awesome on the mic, and really excited where this goes.
Same.
Yeah.
That was my next one that I was going to say too. So my last one is what we both already know we're going to talk about. So is that your next thing too?
Yep.
All right. So bloodline drama continuing. Dude, I was legitimately, okay, hold on. I don't want to jump all the way to SmackDown. Start with Raw. Mm-hmm. I was pissed because I thought that this was solidifying.
I thought it was too.
I really did. And I was like, motherfucker. We get the main event of Raw is Bronson Reed versus Seth Rollins, and what I think they were kind of alluding to was like the final, like, this is it. This is them going at it, right? You get the Bloodline coming out. Then you get the Usos and Sammy coming out, and they kind of fight that all off. And then the match continues, and the match for what it was really fucking solid again. They Bronson and Seth are really good with each other in the ring. But then Seth's getting ready, and you think he's about to win the match, and then he gets up on the top rope, and he looks over, and he's getting distracted.
Yep.
And you're like, fuck. At least that's what I said.
Yeah. No, I was thinking the same. I was like, no.
And I look, and I'm like, it's fucking Solo. Solo's up on the fucking announce table, distracting Rollins. Reed gets up, hits him with the Death Valley driver. And FU for those of you that don't know what that is. Hits him with the Death Valley driver, hits him with the senton, hit him with 2 sentons.
Yeah, 2 sentons. Yep.
And then he hit him with the tsunami, right, to finish it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Hits him with the tsunami to finish it and gets the win 1, 2, 3. So I'm obviously immediately just like, I fucking called it. God damn it. And I'm so mad that I did, because I'm like, there's no way Seth's not fucking going to join now.
Yeah.
He just got sabotaged by the new bloodline. He just got beat by Bronson Reed. He's going to be the fucking 5th member. And I was fucking mad. I was actually really upset because of what everything we talked about last week.
Yep.
But then SmackDown rolls around. And we get, the opening with the new bloodline saying that, like, Solo calling Roman out and saying, when you get here, you need to meet me in the ring, and you need to accept my, conditions for surrender, and then you and the other 4 you and the other 3 will acknowledge me. And then we get a scene backstage with the OG bloodline, still trying to figure out, like, hey, what the fuck's the plan? What are we gonna do? Who's the 4th? Or who's the 5th? who are we gonna find? We have nobody, and like then Sam even brings up Seth and Roman and
like,
Jimmy
no.
both, and even Jay kind of all looked at him like, "Come on, man."
Can I just
Yeah.
Jimmy Uso in that scene again? Comedic gold. He's like,
I love the.
He's like, Jay was like Cody Rhodes,
Jay's
and
like,
he's
what
like,
about Cody?
Yeah,
And he's like, yeah.
Roman's like, no,
No, and he goes,
no.
no. It was great. It was fantastic. Yeah.
It was like you said in the one where he's like holding up the ones, like looking back, going, yeah.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, come on.
Are we doing it?
It was basically along the same lines.
idea. No,
But
he's been fantastic since he's been back too.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
No, you're good. That's all essentially leads to like they don't know what's going on. They just know they're going out to face off later in the night.
I really liked it. It was kind of just ride or die kind of thing. He was just like,
he's like, we don't need anyone else. Like
we got the four of us.
He's like, we're gonna go out and do this together. And if we die, we die together.
Yep.
You know, so yeah, I like that too. But I liked when Sammy was like, all right, so what's the plan? And Roman's just like, I don't know. And like, because I was like, how often have we seen that where the tribal chief Roman Reigns like doesn't have an answer?
Yeah.
And he didn't have an answer. It was just like, dude, it's the four of us. That's where we're at. I don't know. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So I liked that too, right? And then you get to that moment in the, I guess what you would call the main event of the night. It was just that happening, but
Yeah.
not the main event match, but the actual ending point of SmackDown. New Bloodlines out. They call out the OG. They come out face to face in the ring, and then right before like Solo offers Roman the mic to essentially surrender and all that, and right before Roman can say anything, you hear "Ladies and gentlemen," and I was like, okay, fuck yeah, we saw this coming. And in my mind, I'm like, of all the people we've talked about, who the fuck's it gonna be?
Yeah.
You know, like, because that's why he's here. Has to be. He's bringing someone out. Like, what's going on? And dude, this legitimately was shocking. Caught me by surprise, but it also makes complete and utter sense.
Yeah.
Paul Heyman standing at the top of the ramp saying it's not gonna be 4-on-5 because that match just doesn't compute for me. It's gonna be 5-on-5, and he points at the entrance ramp and here comes CM fucking Punk, and they did this so well.
Yeah,
they
did.
really fucking did this so well. Not even on my radar. I know it wasn't on your radar.
Nope.
This made my butthole pucker. Out of multiple different emotions. I was super happy because this meant Seth wasn't in this.
Yeah.
And it's not that I have anything against Seth. I just didn't want him involved in this. Mm-hmm. Like, have him do something else.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. But he doesn't need to be involved in this. And we've talked so many times about, like, there's no one that makes sense. There's nobody else that makes sense. But we fucking forgot about CM Punk. Because CM Punk might be the only fucking person on the active roster that does make sense.
Yep.
Because he wasn't here for the entirety of Roman Reigns' bloodline run.
Yep.
He wasn't here for almost any part of it, actually. Mm-hmm. He has no issues with Roman or Jimmy or Sammy or Jay. He only has that kinship with Paul Heyman.
Yep.
And what happened to Paul Heyman? The new bloodline fucking destroyed Paul Heyman.
Yep.
So it makes sense. It totally makes sense. They played it so fucking well.
And CM Punk had that interaction with the new bloodline on SmackDown a long time
yeah,
ago.
that is true.
Yeah. Where
Yeah.
Paul Heyman was like, take me with you.
Yeah.
Like, I need a favor from
Yeah.
you kind of thing.
Right before he got fucking
Right
killed.
before he got murdered.
And that was the same. Was that not the same night that McIntyre sent Punk to the hospital?
Yeah, I'm
too?
pretty sure
Which
it
then
was
like
that, yeah.
explained and made sense as to why Punk wasn't like didn't come out for a save on Heyman, right? So
Yeah.
like all of this long game storytelling that led to this was done
good.
so fucking well. And it was like I was legit like, oh, here we fucking go, man. Oh my God, this is gonna be fucking dope. And Tim, we're gonna be there.
Yes.
We have the solidified men's War Games match. We have 90% of the solidified women's War Games match with the obvious, we're not sure what's going on with Bianca and that's Jade in that situation. We're getting the fucking Bloodline, the OG versus the new Bloodline with fucking now CM Punk involved in this, and the Wise Man's back. We're getting the whole fucking thing.
Get to see CM Punk.
Yeah, dude. I'm so fucking stoked. That's awesome.
I got 2 things to add to this.
Yes, let's do it.
So, CM Punk and Heyman do have history with Roman, and it was with the Shield. Shield came onto the scene to help CM Punk retain his title.
That is true.
And
yes, that is fair.
Long story was like Paul Heyman brought in Shield for CM Punk, and so there's that little backstory, which just kind of has a fun little wrinkle to it all.
So Paul Heyman brought the Shield in to help CM Punk retain, and now Paul Heyman is bringing CM Punk in to help get Roman back in power.
Yeah. I thought.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's
a long reach.
A decade long of storytelling.
Yeah. It's a long reach, but I mean, it kind of fits, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is, did you notice the way Paul Heyman was dressed?
He was wearing red and black.
He was wearing red and black. It wasn't a button up. It was like a T-shirt underneath.
It was like.
It was very solo.
It was what you would have expected. Like it almost looked like he should have been wearing like a red turtleneck. Like that was what the shirt underneath kind of looked like, but it was just like a normal crew neck.
Yeah.
But it looked like a really nice like long sleeve like dressy undershirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, no tie.
It was very different.
It was very different.
It was very solo.
That was the first thing I noticed when he came out. I was
like, the gold chain that Solo wears.
He was dressed different. That's
his watch was even red. Like.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Okay.
Like, this was... I could still see the turn happening.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting.
And sure. There's still a scenario, kind of like how we were talking about last week, where Seth Rollins got pulled from the match because Bronson attacked him. I could kind of see it happening oppositely, too, where Bronson now gets attacked by Seth Rollins and pulled out of the match. I mean, I don't want him to switch it up.
And then you're thinking, but maybe then Heyman switches sides and introduces maybe The Rock.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Dude, yeah, that's a good point, though.
The way he was dressed is not how Paul Heyman dresses.
No, and then his facial expression too. Even when, like at the end, when it was CM Punk and Roman looking at each other, and he's standing on the apron.
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a change about Paul Heyman now. So
yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah, it will definitely be interesting.
Yeah. All right, man.
That's what I had.
That's what I got. Banger of the week, buddy.
Banger of the week, man. I'm going to be honest, there weren't necessarily, to me at least, there weren't a ton of matches this week that were like jaw-dropping to me.
Mm-hmm. All the ones I thought were interrupted. So
yeah, true. Yeah.
So I kind of am thinking along the same lines as you.
I have 2. I'm not gonna say the first one that is like my actual banger of the week, but I'm gonna give a runner up just because I called it and I'm happy it happened. The first one though is just the whole Rhea coming out just in fucking stride, getting in the ring in stride, not missing a beat, screaming War Games and just fucking headbutt to start the brawl was fucking awesome. It was great. It was super cinematic without anything having to be done with camera work.
Uh-huh.
It was just your basic WWE camera work coming down the entrance ramp, and then she gets it. It was just fucking. It was great.
Yeah.
It felt like an MCU Infinity War or even Endgame when they do the full battles.
Yeah.
Like it felt like that type of moment, where I was like, fuck. The other one that I want to say was just Chelsea Green winning the triple threat match to move on, because I called that. I was like, I think it'll be Chelsea. I hope it's Chelsea. And yeah, so I was, and she's just great, man. She's super good in the ring. She sells she might be the best seller.
I love
in the women's division.
I love how she acts like she shouldn't be winning. Like she's shocked that she's winning.
Yeah.
And like just all her nuances in the ring that she
Yeah.
does is gold to her character.
It is. It really is. So yeah, those were mine.
Like you, I was like looking for a match and I was like going, oh, it could be this, but then it ended abruptly. My banger of the week is the KO Cody Rhodes promo. I thought that was just gold.
It was.
I too have a runner up and it was from NXT.
Okay.
There was the match wasn't like phenomenal, but the story line to it. So it was Ridge Holland versus Andre Chase, and if it was a number one contenders for Trick Williams title, but if Andre Chase lost, Chase U University is no more, and so they have a big long history, and they're playing the feud throughout the night, and then Andre Chase lost, but you like thought he was gonna win. It was just a good overall over good storyline. So
Yeah.
enjoyed it thoroughly.
Awesome.
That brings us to Belt's question of the week. I pose this one. With Cena's retirement looming, what other retirement or retirements is going to hit you the most coming up?
Yeah, and I have two for it. I think I don't know which of these is going to actually be like the most. I'll just say them both. Randy Orton and the Hardy Boys. Is that what you said?
I'll let you go on. It's very similar.
Yeah. So the Hardys, because they've always said, and especially more and more so recently, like Matt has said on his podcast multiple times that like that he believes that their plan is to retire under the WWE banner. So like they are going to come back to the WWE at some point. They will retire under the WWE.
Yeah.
And then Randy Orton has just been, I mean, I feel like was one of the faces of the company when at like that turning point in wrestling for me, right? Like when I first started watching, and kind of similar with you, was like right at those beginning days of the Attitude Era, right? Kind of in that transition period.
Yeah.
And I mean, I was young at the beginning of the Attitude Era. I was like 4 or 5 years old, right? But I was watching, but then like as the years went by and I was, getting a little older to where I can actually start comprehending and understanding storylines and really relating to things and starting to really, I don't know, just like have an actual like connection with what's going on the screen.
Yeah.
Was the early 2000s, right around the time when like Cena and Orton all debuted.
Yeah.
And so Orton has always been, I think for me, one of it was like Cena was Batman and Randy Orton was the Joker.
Yeah.
Like the face, the heel for 20 years.
Yeah.
And for the majority of my time, I mean, like legitly, like almost the entirety of my actual full-time watching wrestling and being invested in it, Randy Orton has been at the center of it.
Yeah, and he's been the longest. Like even John Cena dipped out to go do a movie. Randy's been the
most consistent
since he debuted.
Yeah. So, it is. I think his will be big.
Yeah.
I think that one will be like that one. I think is going to hit more than Cena retiring.
Yeah.
Because like Cena retire, it's like that already happened. That's what it feels like.
Yeah. I agree.
It feels like it already took place. Like whatever. Orton has been consistent outside of being gone for injury. He has been consistently on our screens for over 20 years now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, there's that. And then the Hardys, I think it's just kind of goes because it feels like we mention Jeff almost every fucking time. But the Hardys were such an crucial part of us getting into wrestling and just everything that has to do with so many things that we love about wrestling and our own little, side characters that we've created when we have done our own stuff. And like so much of it has been, what's the word I want to say? Inspired and influenced by the Hardys.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So I just think that one's another one where it's like, we see it coming and we know it's going to happen, where Orton still seems like we don't know when it's gonna happen, you know. And so like I feel like that one's still a little bit more, like I said, Cena's, we already expect that. It feels like it already happened, but now he's gonna go on this run to actually make it official, which is awesome, and I'm excited for that. But like I said, it already seems like it kind of was like, yeah, we knew this was happening.
Yeah, it's kind of coming.
The Hardys, like, we know it's going to happen. Like, they're getting older. They're getting to that point in the career where like it's harder for them to do the same shit. But Orton has been fucking, like, he's put on some of the best matches of his career over the last couple of years. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh shit, man. Yeah, I think that one will be the most. What about you?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. I mean, I didn't put the Hardy Boys, but I put Jeff Hardy because just of everything he's gone through personally. Yeah. But to your point, he's been very influential. I think he's the reason I wanted to do backyard wrestling with you guys, and everything is just everything. He's just been so influential on what I like about wrestling and character-wise, and just that underdog finally winning big one has always been. There's just been so many cool moments with Jeff Hardy. I think it's just only fitting that he comes back to WWE, and I think he is a changed man now, and it'll just be bittersweet just to see where he started and how far he's come to retire. And I too have two. Michael Cole. The second he is not on the announce table is gonna just hit. Like he's
the best. I think he's the best announcer in the history of wrestling.
Like, I thought to myself, like, JR would be hard, but it kind of was like John C. Like, you stopped seeing him so often, but he would come back to where
like the guest
special,
appearance
so it wasn't
like
but if like Michael Cole says I'm retiring here,
and he's just done,
and then he's done, that's gonna hit. That's gonna hit because
that's
it
a
is
good one,
so
dude.
much
That's really good.
fun listening to.
Because when you're talking about this type of thing, you ask this type of question, like the announcers are not who you're thinking of typically.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, no, that's.
I didn't have them written down until watching SmackDown and just hearing him call things, and I'm just like,
I mean, fuck. In that same vein, dude, Paul Heyman's gonna be a one too.
Oh, for sure.
Because like how just influential on the wrestling industry he has been, but also just our upbringing in wrestling. Like, So yeah, man.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Shit. All right. Good question. I really like that one.
That brings us to
Blockbusters.
Ding, ding, ding. Da-dum.
Oh, anyway, yeah. So I forgot what we were doing for a second. Blockbusters, man. We got a handful of things to talk about. A couple of them are kind of in more kind of pre-production, just announced type things. So there's not a ton of information, but I just thought a couple of them are exciting to talk about.
Yeah.
This one has some casting, has a synopsis. Doesn't have a release date yet though. But this movie is called The Trip. The Trip is an adaptation of the 2021 Norwegian action horror comedy I Onde Dager. I have no idea if I pronounced that right or not. I tried. And centers around a dysfunctional couple who look to reconnect at a remote cabin, but each actually has their own secret plans to kill each other.
Wow.
This movie stars Jason Segel and Samara Weaving in those lead roles there. They are the dysfunctional couple. It also stars Timothy Olyphant and a handful of other people. It is directed by Jorma Taccone, he's one of the three members of The Lonely Island. He was also a writer on SNL. He was also, kind of did like guest spot cast member of SNL as well, specifically with the Lonely Island stuff that they did. He also directed the movie Pop Star, Never Stop, Never Stopping. And like I said, this movie does not have a release date as of yet, but I love pretty much everything that Jason Segel's in or has to do with. Forgetting Sarah Marshall is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. He is fantastic. He is amazing. How I Met Your Mother is one of my favorite shows of all time. Has a lot to do with his character in it. So when I saw this, I was like, oh shit. But then I read it. I was like, an action horror comedy.
Yeah.
That sounds fantastic. So yeah, I wanted to throw this on there and just you kind of get the word out. Plus, Jason Segel, Samara Weaving, and Timothy Olyphant. That's a pretty good just 3 leading people to have in a movie. So.
I was going to say, you had me at the 3 stars that you listed, but the premise of it sounds awesome. Just just I can see where the comedy's going to come from this, but also the horror aspect too. Yeah. So, no, that has me really excited. I can't wait to see a trailer, teaser, whenever that comes out. Now You See Me 3, November 14, 2025 release. It's going to be starring Jesse Eisenberg, Woody Harrelson, Dave Franco, Isla Fisher, and Morgan Freeman. Rosamund Pike, Justice Smith, Ariana Greenblatt, and Dominic Sessa joined the cast. Not any plot details yet. I've heard this has been in the works for a little bit.
Yep.
Big fan of the first 2 movies.
Same.
And love to see what they're going to do with the third.
Yeah.
For sure.
Absolutely. I will be curious to see if they... There's another one. Add to the tally. I'm going to be curious to see if they somehow add back in Daniel Radcliffe's character from Now You See Me 2, or how they'll kind of navigate that part of the storyline.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love these movies.
They're so much fun.
They are. They're so much fun, and they're very intriguing and just action packed. And
it's kind of got like, I really like heist movies, and that's what these are essentially long run. So
yeah, that's what they are. Yeah.
Plus magic.
Yeah.
I love magic.
You know, I'm a Harry Potter fan, so I'm all here for it.
Yeah.
All right. We got, this one has probably the least amount of information about it, but I loved the first one, so I was like, I got to put this on here. So there's very little known about this project yet outside of the fact that the 4 leads are all expected to return. And this is Wild Hogs 2. So Tim Allen, John Travolta, Martin Lawrence, and William H. Macy are all expected to return in their roles. Yeah, and so I loved the first movie so much.
Same here, dude.
It was so good, and so I'm
the
excited.
4 of them together just made the perfect.
It really did.
Group there,
and just like the roles that they all played in that friend group were just fucking hilarious. And because I feel like it was all like relatable, because it was like at every point I've had that group of friends where I'm like, oh, this one's you, this one's you, this one's you. You know, it was always fun to kind of look at it that way. What I did read was that this is actually the second time now that a sequel has been like in development.
Okay.
Back in 2010, Wild Hogs 2 Bachelor Party was, or Bachelor Ride or something like that, was, it was supposed to come out in 2010, but then after the director, Becker, I think is his last name. I forgot to put that on here. But I also read that it was unsure if he was returning or not. So that's part of why I didn't put it on, because I don't know who the director of this is going to be yet. But if he does return, it would be the same director. He is also the one that did the comedy Old Dogs with John Travolta and Robin Williams.
Love that movie too.
But it flopped. Like, it was not a financial success.
Old Dogs?
Yeah. Yeah. And so after I read after it failed, then his Wild Hogs 2 was scrapped. And so this has actually been a long time coming now. I mean, like 14 years. The first one came out in like 2007.
Okay.
But I put the synopsis of the first one on here to read, just in case there's anybody that hasn't seen it, or they're interested, or just need the reminder, so we can get an idea of any potential follow-up storyline, anything. So the first movie synopsis from the original Wild Hogs is: tired of their humdrum lives, some middle-aged friends, Alan, Travolta, Lawrence, and Macy, all decide to temporarily ditch their responsibilities and take a motorcycle trip. The freedom of the open road holds many surprises for the group, including an encounter with the Del Fuegos, a hardcore gang who take a dim view of the novice bikers. The leader of that of the Del Fuegos in that movie is the late Ray Liotta. the late and great Ray Liotta, I should say. And like the first movie, it was phenomenal. It was so good. The comedic timing and everything, and with all four of those actors are fantastic, and like they're all really good comedic, they're all really good in more serious roles, so it's like you can get the combo of all of it within this. Ray Liotta also really good. Was it Eva Longoria, I believe, was in it as well. She was one of the girlfriends, or whatever. But yeah, so it was just all around just good. I forget the actor's name, but the guy who plays Dr. Cox in Scrubs was the bike cop.
Yeah.
Marco. He was fucking hilarious. I would love for them to somehow run back into him in the sequel too. Yes. That'd be great. So yeah, man. Like they get into trouble or something. They're like, we have someone to call, and they call him or something that helps get him off or something. I don't know. It would just be, there's so many things that they could do to like help continue the story, but also have like pay homage and give good callbacks to the original.
Yeah.
By the time this comes out, will have been almost 20 years ago. So,
yeah. No, I agree. I didn't know anything about this as well, and I'm excited for this because the first one was hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. Well, one of my favorite things, and me and my stepbrother Austin, we still do this, is when they're in the diner, when they finally get to the diner, but John Travolta had gone back, and he like fucking just like blew up all of the gang's bikes, and then he gets to the diner, he's like, we gotta go guys, we gotta get out of here, and Martin Lawrence just grabs a picture of water, and he's like like anytime something crazy is happening and me and Austin are together, we both look at each other and we're like,
that's awesome.
Right? Yeah. It's just so funny. So good shit.
That's awesome. Next up, we got Den of Thieves 2, sequel to Den of Thieves.
Yeah.
Synopsis: Big Nick is back on the hunt in Europe and closing in on Donnie, who is embroiled in the treacherous and unpredictable world of diamond thieves and the infamous Panther Mafia as they plot a massive heist of the world's largest diamond exchange. Starring Gerard Butler and O'Shea Jackson Jr. We got a release date coming up here in January 15th, 2025. Big fan of the first one. Again, like we alluded to earlier, I'm big fan of heist movies, and
same.
And Den of Thieves was like a really surprisingly good one. Like, big fan of Gerard Butler, but like the rest of the cast was like, is this movie gonna be good? And and it ended up being great.
Because it was like at the time when the first one came out, because it's been a few years now.
It was 2018. 2018 was when it came out.
I want to say like the only outside of like small cameo parts, the only thing that O'Shea Jackson Jr., which is Ice Cube's son, was known for was Straight Outta Compton, playing his dad. Yeah, right? He played his father's. He played Ice Cube in Straight Outta Compton. So it was one of those things where it was like outside of him, the main original cast was like 50 Cent was in it, and then
a few moments later.
This is who I thought it was. Pablo Schreiber. He was in 13 Hours with John Krasinski.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And he, like, primarily what I know him from is a multi-episode arc on Law & Order SVU. He, like, takes Olivia Benson hostage and stuff. Like, he's really good actor.
Okay.
But, yeah. Anyways.
Nice.
That was, sorry, I had to just, that was, it's one of those things where it just like, if I can't remember it, I'm just going to piss me off the rest of the episode, and I'm not going to pay attention to anything else. That's all I'm going to be thinking of. So
we do got a trailer for this one. It looks action packed. Has a little comedy in there as well, but the stakes look high in it, and
looks really good.
And I like that Nick, Gerard Butler's character, is now on the high side of things, because his character was badass in the other one. You can tell he's kind of a tweener of like kind of breaking the rules, and so now he was
on
like
the bad boy cop.
Yes,
right.
Yes, exactly. And
kind
so
of a renegade cop. And now it seems like he's full renegade.
Yes,
because in the trailer even it says O'Shea Jackson's character said, "Didn't you get fired?
Yeah.
Or, like, didn't they can your ass or something like that?" And
Yeah.
so it's like, oh, so he's no longer with the
The police force.
the police force. And
Yeah.
but yeah, I'm stoked for that one. Next up, we have is it Heretic? Heretic. Okay, I could. Once again, man, Alexa,
Stop it.
you gotta calm down over there. You're making my pants tight. Yeah, Heretic. So the synopsis for it is 2 young missionaries are forced to prove their faith when they knock on the wrong door and are greeted by a diabolical Mr. Reed, becoming ensnared in his deadly game of cat and mouse. Heretic means one who differs in opinion from an accepted belief or doctrine. So that's where the name comes from for the movie. It is currently in theaters right now. We don't typically cover movies necessarily that are like already out, I guess.
Yeah.
In this portion, at least, of Blockbusters. But I wanted to put this on here because, and I texted you this yesterday, I've been listening to the Smartless podcast with Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and Sean P. Hayes. And I listened just recently to, I think it was their most recent released episode with an actual guest on it, and it was Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
And so the stars Hugh Grant. He is Mr. Reed. He is the one that the missionaries come to. It also stars Topher Grace, Sophie Thatcher, and Chloe East. But I was just listening to him and just like his whole kind of story, his whole like the Hugh Grant. This is on the Smartless podcast. His whole just career. And how like he did some things way early on, and then he did 4 Weddings and a Funeral. But like before that, and he referred to it. He said, "Yeah, I had a career before that, but it was pretty lame. It was really like B movie type things and stuff like that." But then like 4 Weddings and a Funeral kind of like sparked him into this romantic comedy line of stuff, and he did a lot of those. And he said like, he loved them. He enjoyed them. He said, they're actually a lot harder than like people give them credit for to do those. But he said now that as he's gotten older, and he referred to himself, he said, as I've gotten older and uglier, I can't play those roles anymore. That was what he said. He can still pull it off. Yeah, he looks pretty goddamn good still, man. He's just a good dude. But he was talking about, Jason Bateman was kind of bringing it out of him and just talking about like, now are these roles that now, like, as you're at this stage in your career, like, are you looking for these types of things to like kind of branch out and do these different stuff? Because like he's done a handful of things like that, and he said, yeah, really, like it just allows him to venture out and do a different thing, outside of like the typecasted world that sometimes actors fall victim to. So the fucking trailer for this looks fucking wild. And part of the reason why Hugh Grant said when the script came across his desk and he decided like he really wanted to do it was because it's an A24 movie. Yeah. And there he said himself, and we've talked about it actually a couple times recently on episodes. He said himself that he's like, I'm still trying to get over Midsommar. Yeah, that movie's a trip. And that's what Hugh Grant said. Yeah. Like he was like, oh my god. And so like when he got the opportunity to be a part of an A24 production, like he was all for it. And because they were essentially talking about how A24, it's really hard to blend all of the elements of cinema that A24 productions do, where they make you care. There's the laughs, but there's also the terrifying realism to things as well. And so, yeah, it was just made me be like, dude, we got to talk about this because we haven't yet. I know it's already out, but I want to talk about it. So
yeah, couple things. So excited to hear that you listen to Smartless, because really Smartless is what got me into podcasts. It was the first one I listened to, and I've listened to religiously. So
yeah, they're so fucking funny.
I love that show.
It's so good. I've only listened to a few episodes. I listened to the very first one I listened to was Alicia Keys, and she's so fucking cool. Like you just tell, like you're just listening to her talk and you're just like, she's so chill. Like that's the type of person you want to just like hang out in a coffee house with.
Yeah.
Just like hang out and bullshit with. Jude Law, Michael Keaton, and then Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
Those are the 4 I've listened to so far.
Yeah.
So
The Michael Keaton was a lot of fun to listen
I'm trying to remember
to.
which one I'm in the middle of listening to right now. That I was literally listening to on the way down here. Anyway.
Yeah,
It'll come to me.
listening to that podcast, it just feels like I'm sitting in a room just watching them talk, and
Yeah.
it's hilarious. Love
Yeah,
that.
it's
The other part of it is just it kind of gives me I don't know if you've seen the movie Escape Room, but it kind of gives me those vibes. So you should check them out if you haven't.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives me those vibes, but also in the A24 fashion,
Yeah.
which I'm excited for.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, this movie looks great. I do want to check this out in theaters, so
We should see it together.
we should.
We haven't gone and seen a movie together in a little bit now, so I figure that'd be a good one. All right, this brings us to the return of the Blockbusters Triple B Game Show. We are bringing back the only game that we have done multiple times now, and this will, I think, be the third time we've done it on the show.
Third, yep.
But we've done a different rendition of it each time. The very first time we did just the basic. It's the Blockbusters Trail. It's where we have 2 actors, and we kind of just, well, the first one I think was you just did it to me.
Yep.
Right? And I just had to connect them.
Yep.
The second time we did it, we did a 3-way race between you, me, and my brother Nathan.
With 3 actors.
With 3 actors,
And you had to
and
connect
that
them.
of which Nathan fucking destroyed us. He is
In minutes.
abnormally,
Like,
not even minutes. He had it done in like 35 seconds. It
Yeah.
was fucking crazy. He is abnormally good. He's like Rain Man. But it has nothing to do with his abilities. It's just because, never mind. So, love you, brother. But yeah, so speaking of Nathan, before we started this episode, I texted him and I said, hey, if you get this in the next 30 minutes, send me a text with 2 different actors.
Yep.
And then I'm going to look at it. I'm going to read it live on screen. The way we're doing this game this time is Tim, you and me, we're going to co-op this bitch. And I'm saying that in the terms of like cooperative video game play, right? Where you like do the storyline together. Okay. So you and me are going to work together to get through this. But the way it's going to work is I will read the 2 actors. I will start we're just going to start with one of them. And we have to go from that side. We can't bounce back and forth from side to side. We just have to work from one to the other. But the way it works is I will say, let's just say I'll just start it. Okay. So I will start it. I will take the first actor and I will go from them to somebody else in a specific movie.
Okay.
Okay. Once I have done that, you then have to take that somebody else and you now have to just say that person to somebody else in a movie.
Okay.
Then I have to take that person and we kind of leapfrog each other based off of the second person that we said. But there's no help between each other. It's literally just like I could be like, all right, if I say this, I hope you say this.
Yeah.
But then you say somebody else, and now I'm like, fuck, where am I going? So
Yeah.
we're going to see how this works.
We can't talk it through.
I
We
just made this up. So
I
we're
like
going to see
it.
how it works, but I thought a different rendition of this game would be fun.
I like it.
It's a fun game in general. Keep bringing it back. So I did get a text from Nathan. So I will open that and we will read it.
The best part about this, there's no losers because we're both winning. He made it really hard, didn't he?
I mean,
all right, what are the
yes,
okay.
I think, but also because we're not using shows.
Okay, we're taking shows off the plate.
We're not
Okay.
using shows. So
Okay.
then I think it does kind of change it, but also I also feel like I'm not sure. But Nathan wouldn't do this, and that wouldn't. This, Nathan. It's not.
Yes.
He would make this not a one connection thing. The 2 actors he sent are Leonard Nimoy, who, if I'm not mistaken,
He's
played Spock.
Yeah. Fuck, that makes it hard.
And Patrick Stewart, who
Who also is in Star Trek.
but only the TV show, correct?
No, he was in movies. He was like in Star Trek Nemesis.
But was he in any of them with Leonard? He wasn't in any of them with Leonard Nimoy.
No, I don't believe
because
so.
that wouldn't make any sense. So that's why I'm like, Nathan wouldn't do that.
No.
So,
damn it.
Leonard Nimoy to Patrick Stewart.
All right. What one are you starting with?
I don't know. Let's maybe go on the easy side first. Patrick Stewart.
Oh, you're going with Patrick Stewart.
Do we want to start from the other side?
I think we should start from the other way. Bury out of the hard way.
Okay, bury out of the hard way. That's fine. That's fair. Okay. Fuck. Maybe I'll let you start. Maybe I'll let you start.
Bastard.
Because I'm going to be honest, Star Trek is not my thing in any way, shape, or form. So I don't really know any of the people that are in Star Trek outside of William Shatner, Patrick Stewart, and Leonard Nimoy. Those are the only three people I know.
Well, I guess that's where I'm going to go with
William Shatner.
William Shatner. Leonard Nimoy to William Shatner.
I was counting on you to have a better option.
I haven't watched the earlier Star Trek movies.
Figure out something that William Shatner's in movie wise. He's been in so many. Fuck. Never mind. We got to get to Patrick Stewart. This is gonna be easy. This is gonna actually be easy. I think. I'm gonna go Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good pull.
Okay. All right. And so we're trying to get to Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart. We say this is easy, and then you got us out. I
got us out of the hard part.
So
now it's really just making the connection, and I feel like it should be fucking simple. Nathan's gonna be screaming once again. I don't know how he's so good at this game. I thought I was good at this game, and then we did that one with him. I was like, okay, this is fucking ridiculous.
I'm gonna go.
Well, no, I'm sitting here thinking, but me thinking doesn't matter because I have to wait for you to say one anyway.
I'm gonna say Sandra Bullock to Keanu Reeves' Speed.
Okay.
I know I'm trying to think ahead, but then you're right. I have to wait for your
movie.
movie.
I know it doesn't matter if you think ahead. It kind of adds a new wrinkle to this, which is actually kind of nice.
Remember, we have to be on the same page, so don't think too far ahead.
I know.
I mean, I like. Because we do need to think ahead, but
I know.
Also, I need to be on the same wavelength without talking to you about this.
I know, that's the thing, is because I could say one and completely fucking throw you. Fuck. Man, this is harder than I thought it was going to be, honestly. Because now it's like it's not just me trying to connect it, it's me trying to connect one, but also not screw you over in connecting that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I guess let's just go for it.
Let's go Keanu to Keanu Reeves movies. I'm like only thinking of two outside of Speed. I'm only thinking of two. That's like the only things that are in my mind. Fuck. I'm just gonna go Lawrence Fishburne in The Matrix.
Damn you. Oh, shit. Lawrence Fishburne. That's one I really can't think of a lot. Like, I know he's been in a lot, but I can't think of a lot of movies. Oh. All right. You need to be on the same page here.
All right.
You ready?
Throw it.
Please don't ruin this, because the next movie connects us.
Oh, fuck. That's a lot of pressure.
Okay. Lawrence Fishburne to Amy Adams in Man of Steel. So
You're Amy Adams to Patrick Stewart?
No, well, there's a movie in between, but we'll connect us to it.
Oh, fuck. Oh, god damn it. Okay.
Please get it right.
Fuck. I can't fucking think of anything that Amy Adams is in right now. I am fucking struggling.
I think we could still get there through other things, but the one definitely connects it.
A few moments later.
Fuck. Oh my god!
And I hope
know it too. It's Enchanted.
Yep.
Fuck. What is his goddamn name? He's fucking Cyclops. He's. Oh my god. Oh no. This is where it's gonna end.
You can't use it if you can't name him.
I know. What the fuck's his name? Right now, since I can't remember his fucking name. James Marsden. Boom.
Yeah.
Enchanted, James Marsden. There we go.
James Marsden to Patrick
Yeah.
Stewart in the X-Men.
Holy shit. I failed us so hard in that whole thing.
The other
Jesus
one,
Christ.
The other one was American Hustle, Amy Adams with Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah.
Yeah.
American Hustle. That's right.
Man, what a fun game that was.
Yeah,
That what a fun.
Took me way longer than it fucking should have, and I apologize for everyone listening, but we got there. We'll have to bring that back because that was it was fun.
It was fun.
It was good.
And it's hard not to be on the same page there.
It is,
but
yes.
we finally got there. All right, that brings us to our November binge recap. So this is our second one doing this. I introduced it for October. So Ryan, go over what shows you finished or started, and movies you watched, or shows you're watching,
Yeah, man. Shows that I finished in this month were, which technically wasn't in this month, but it was after we did October's binge recap.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, that's fitting.
Agatha All Along.
Okay.
Finished Agatha All Along. Fantastic fucking show. Really excited for the continuance of those characters and see what's next in the MCU for all of that and everything that's connected to it.
Mm-hmm.
We've talked about that a few times on here. I also finished Only Murders, season 4, I believe that was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, finished Only Murders. Started and finished Outer Banks season 4, which that was a hell of an end to a season. I think shows that I finished, that probably comes pretty close to it. Shows that I've started, we started the newest season of Found recently. I've talked about that on here as well. That's still going on. We started Yellowstone season 5B. Started coming out 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Tomorrow, episode 3 drops, or I guess technically episode 11 of season 5, but it's the third episode of the second half.
Okay.
And based on a true story, came out 2 days ago, I believe.
Oh, the new season did?
Yeah, the first episode of the new season. I believe it was the 21st. So those are things that we have started or we are going to start watching. And then movies that I've watched outside of the stuff that we've actually done for the show. I haven't watched a ton of movies this last month. However, I did watch Dodgeball again the other night during the power outage because I got my generator running and we were able to pull enough from the generator to be able to run the TV and an Xbox in my room to be able to pull out my DVD collection and do a movie. So I tried to watch The Internship, but that for some reason wasn't working. I don't know why I couldn't get it to play, but watch Dodgeball, which is classic, fantastic. Vince Vaughn is the Smartless episode I'm listening to right now.
Oh, that was a good
one.
episode.
So, Vince Vaughn, Jason Bateman, Dodgeball. There you go. They couldn't remember they were in Dodgeball together.
They talked about it, though.
Well, maybe not to the point. Yeah, maybe not to the point where I'm at because they were talking about the movies that they've been in together, and they named a handful, and they're like, and there's at least one more, but I can't think of it. It's Dodgeball because they didn't say Dodgeball yet. But yeah. What about you?
Shows that I have finished, actually quite a bit here. So The Penguin.
Oh yeah, I finished The Penguin too. Fuck, good call.
Fucking phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Well, it's probably in the top 5 shows that I've ever watched.
It's amazing.
It was incredible.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah.
Front to back.
Colin Farrell deserves a fucking award.
For that, yes.
Absolutely. And so does Kristen Milioti.
Yeah.
She was amazing in that. All around. It was really
the
good.
finale, oh my God.
Fuck.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
The whole
Fucking
show,
mind-blowing,
incredible. I loved it. I cannot say enough good things about The Penguin. Schitt's Creek, wrap that up.
Hey, there you go.
I know we were talking, last time we talked about it, we were talking about how I was watching it. I finished it.
Was that watching it for the first time?
No, this is the second time around.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. I was going to say.
Hoarders, just caught up on the latest season, and that show is insane. I find myself having tendencies of a hoarder, but not to
That
be on the
extent.
show.
Yeah. I can't do reality TV stuff like that very much. Like Bar Rescue is about the extent of it for me. I have
Yeah.
a hard time with other stuff, but so I've never watched Hoarders really.
Agatha All Along was the other one that I finished, and also agree with you, just incredible.
You haven't finished Only Murders yet?
Oh yeah, I did finish that, but
Only Murders too.
I guess I didn't put that in the last. Yeah, so I did finish that as well. Also really good, and
Fantastic. All three. So Penguin, Only Murders, Agatha. They all did a really good job of them, like also laying the groundwork to set up another
yes,
continuance or another season or whatever
absolutely.
you want to call it. So
Other shows that it's not starting, but continuing to watch is How I Met Your Mother. I'm in the 5th season right now.
Same. We're also in the 5th season.
And then Modern Family,
Great.
I started the show and made it through like 9 seasons, but then I lost cable and then haven't finished the last. So I'm starting from beginning.
So you haven't finished? You haven't watched the whole?
I haven't
series
finished
yet?
the whole series.
Dude,
so
that's gonna be worth talking about when you get there.
But it's been so long. So watching this first, I just
Feels
got
like
through
you're
the first.
watching it again,
It's like
yeah.
for the first time, and the same laughs are coming up. I'm remembering
The show's
little
so
parts.
good.
It's so good. And then that was it for shows. Movies I've watched. Also, like you, I haven't actually watched quite a bit this month, but I did watch Woman of the Hour. With it was Anna Kendrick first movie she directed.
Netflix. Right?
Yeah, and that
never
movie
watched
was really good.
Was it good?
I
Okay, cool.
enjoyed
Yeah, I need
it.
to watch that. I haven't watched it yet.
And then actually last night I watched Den of Thieves just
there you
because it was
Got
on
stoked.
here.
Yeah.
I was been thinking of the movie too, and so I was just like, oh, I got it, so I'm just gonna watch it. Long movie, but super good.
Super good.
Super
Really
good.
movie.
So that is my binge recap.
Hell
I
yeah,
do want to start. I like to rewatch the seasons if there's not too many before the new one, so I need to watch based on the true stories first season.
Oh yeah.
So that I can. I didn't know it. I knew it was coming up quickly, but I.
Have you already watched the first season?
Yeah.
So
I
you
thoroughly
rewatch it.
just really want to rewatch it before
Yeah, and are
starting
you guys
the new
Yellowstone
season.
fans?
I have not watched that, but I've heard good things, and I've been talking to Haley about wanting to watch it. Good.
The first 4.5 seasons, I guess technically, because only the first half of season 5. I think they're all streaming on Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Is
Currently, what's coming out is not streaming,
okay.
so you'd have to wait till it eventually hits streaming.
Gotcha.
To watch that, but for you to watch the rest of it to catch up, this current half of this second half of the final season would be done probably anyways. So
Yeah.
you'd probably be able to time that out well. But I would definitely recommend. It's phenomenal. It is a great fucking show.
Yeah. Perfect. That brings us to the Blockbusters question of the week, and I pose this as well. I know you've mentioned a soundtrack that you really like on a previous episode, so we're going back to that question. What is your favorite movie soundtrack? A, as a kid, and then B, as a teen and / adult.
Yeah, dude. I'm gonna start with teen and adult.
Okay.
And I'm going, and it might be the same one that I said before. Mm-hmm. But I'm going Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, that was not the
Was
one.
that
you
not? Which one
listed.
did I say?
You talked about Bad Boys 2.
Oh yeah, because
And how-
the Bad Boys 2 soundtrack was fucking dope. But from fucking start to finish for a soundtrack for my adult teen years,
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1,
So good.
all volumes.
Yeah,
honestly.
all
three,
seriously.
but Volume 1 was like, that's like a Spotify playlist on its own that you just
Yeah.
fucking put on and jam to. Like, it was so fucking good.
Yeah.
As a kid, I'm going, and it's really based off one movie, and I'm trying to look up right now what the other songs on the theme song on the soundtrack are, but it's really just one, so I don't know if it really counts as a full soundtrack. I had a hard time thinking of as a kid because that's not like what I paid attention to as a kid, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. But I went with the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers
Oh, that's a good one.
because it had the I believe it was a Van Halen song.
Are you talking about the movie?
Yeah, the movie. With
Oh,
the
yeah,
blues.
I think Dreamin' was one of them, and then
Let me see real quick.
the kids are back in town, and the Power Rangers theme song.
Yeah.
But there is a Van Halen song on there. I was actually listening to it last night.
You're listening to that song or that soundtrack?
To the soundtrack.
The Mighty Morphin Power Rangers
Yeah.
soundtrack. You were listening to it
Yeah.
last night.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Is that one of your answers?
No,
Oh, okay.
no.
What are the odds of that then?
Well, I was thinking about the question, and I was like, oh, what about this? I remember really enjoying the movie.
Oh yeah. Dreams.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one. Sorry, it took me a second to see it.
Yeah.
But I mean, even like Higher Ground,
Yeah.
written by Stevie Wonder, performed by the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Free Ride. Mm-hmm. Go Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I mean, like, just, dude, there's so many songs in that are the power.
Oh, we're in trouble. Something's going on. But... Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Trouble.
Yep.
Yep. Dude, it's just, I mean, Kung Fu Fighting was in it.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really good fucking soundtrack.
Okay. All right.
What about you?
I got a couple for each. So.
Okay.
The two as a kid, Space Jam. Space Jam was a
Good pull. Fuck
a
yeah.
killer soundtrack.
Fucking amazing.
Killer soundtrack
Yeah.
from front to back. Great soundtrack.
I
And
believe I can fly. Woo! I believe I can touch the sky. Woo! Yeah, man. Good shit.
and then Hercules, the Disney movie Hercules. I just absolutely loved that soundtrack.
That's good.
And then as teen adult, the first Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire, we got Chad Kroeger, Josie Scott,
Fucking Hero.
and then just a bunch of killer songs on that one.
I saw that live.
Yeah.
I saw Nickelback perform Hero live.
Oh,
Just like last year.
I
It was amazing.
I love you.
It was great.
Daredevil was another one. It was just had an Evanescence.
Fuck, yeah.
Just early
You
Marvel
just
movies.
threw my whole mentals back. I forgot about that goddamn soundtrack. That was a fucking killer soundtrack for that movie. I haven't watched that movie in so long.
I know. And then 8 Mile. I mean, it's kind of just an Eminem album, but it's...
But there's nothing wrong with that.
No, and it was a great...
An Eminem album is a fantastic thing.
Yeah.
So let's rejoice in that.
I
yeah.
definitely had a bunch for that, but those just like... I didn't realize how many soundtracks I actually listened to, and those were ones like were on full repeat all the time. So
That was a harder question for me because soundtracks aren't like really something that I pay that I don't pay that much attention typically to soundtracks of movies. I'm typically just like more into the movie itself.
yeah,
And so when you said that, I was like, fuck, I don't know. But I was like, okay, well, Guardians. And then I was like, as a kid, goddamn. I was like, oh, fuck, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing them fucking like the parachuting scene to start.
Yeah.
And then when they're like rollerblading in the beginning, like all the stuff. Like
Yeah.
it was just like all of it was just super good. And then as we were just talking about it, like more and more were coming back to me. So
yeah.
that made me just want to watch all of those.
I know, right?
Goddamn.
All right, man.
Well, dude.
Wraps up
Episode 25.
25, dude.
The Jubilation.
Jubilation.
Let's fucking go.